crossing the border today, and we are going to Toronto. And we are going to say hello to my man, Sam Fleming. What's going on, Sam?
Not much. I actually moved 2 hours north of Toronto to Collingwood, which is like a little Aspen kind of town here with a mountain. So it's a great time of year, summertime, and with what's going on, just to give the kids some space.
Nice. The best time to be in Canada is July and August. I know that firsthand from hockey camp. So, spent a lot of summers up there. Just love it. But
I still got my red glasses from when the Raptors were winning at Canada Day last year. See if they can repeat as champs.
Dude, man, Raptors last year was so awesome to watch, and I'm not a Raptors fan.
Taking down the Giants, quite the dynasty.
I love it.
So, Doc, what's going on in Hawaii? How are you this week?
Good. You know, I want to say the weather is nice, but that would be just repetitive because it's always nice. It's getting a little hot, but other than that, everything.
We're 95 degrees here in Chicago today. It's been pretty tough.
Shade? Is it 95?
And we're loving it. I love July, my favorite month of the year. So there you have it.
That's a reggae song, 98 degrees in the shade.
Yeah, right.
I was trying to catch him. He wasn't listening.
I heard you.
Well, anyway, it's been an exciting week. I mean, a few things are happening here. I mean, we saw some really great streams this past week. Some major shows. I mean, the Chosen Few had what they normally do is their big picnic, and they went virtual this week, which was very cool. And actually, next week, we are going to be joined by one of their DJs. We are going to bring on Alan King. He is going to be here, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, next week, we do this every week at 2 o'clock. But this week, we're crossing the border because a lot of things have opened up. And, we're, in addition to streaming, we're also like mobile DJs for the most part. And so we're just starting to come to life here in Chicago. How about you, Sam? Have you guys opened up? Are you doing events in Canada now?
No, there's some virtual stuff I've done, which has been interesting, but we're now in phase 2 of reopening. So that means I think they can have 10 people indoors and 50 people outdoors. But most events, clubs and everything, they've are just done for the year as far as we know. They have extended our emergency orders or the ability to do so for our province, Ontario, into next year. And it's just who knows where we're at, what's going to be next. So streaming and online stuff probably will be a huge component to when things get back to how it was somewhat. I think we're always going to have a foot in this digital world now.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting because I know here in Chicago, we are just into phase 4, I believe it is. And 4 allows us to have events with up to 50 people with social distancing, no dancing. So we're actually going back to weddings starting August 1st. Now, I have had clients move out of state for their weddings to go to Wisconsin. And I have some people here, and it's interesting because I'm getting a lot of different information, basically. I mean, some people are saying if you go outside for a wedding with a tent, you can have 100 people. If you're inside, it's 50 people. Some people are getting multiple rooms. So, they're trying to work the system legally the best that they can in order to accommodate everybody. But, one of the things that's happening now is I've got a wedding that's coming up, and one of the first things they asked me about was streaming. So, we all jumped into the streaming game when the pandemic started in a way to communicate with everybody and be a part of this. And that's how I met Doc, of course. And I don't know if I've told everybody the story of how I met Doc, but we both got into this Ecamm thing and hit it off pretty quickly, and music interests and everything, and great guy. And we decided we'd start this show. So we've been trying to bring different people on every week and see where we would end up going with this, because I really do believe the streaming thing is definitely here to stay. And as we fight through this COVID-19 situation, it seems like it's more and more important that we have the streaming. And now I think we're going to be able to put this to work at actual events, because people are, if they're having to have 2 rooms, they don't want people in the other room to be the stepchild if that's where the ceremony is not happening. So they're asking for, can you guys stream? Can you stream it and, put in a couple TV sets down here, a couple big monitors, and make it happen so everybody can be a part of the same party. So, this is a whole new world for us. I don't know if this is something that you've talked about up in Canada, and if this is something that's appealing, but it's definitely a different direction for what we've been doing in the past.
The bar we do the disco night at, the Piston, has put a TV in the front and actually provided DJ gear for those that don't have it at home to come and do their nights actually at the bar, so they can stream from home in a back room, because we're only allowed 10 people. So they started selling burgers and beers at the front door, which is fine. I went and did it last week, and it was nice to see everybody again in reality. But yeah, it was just like barbecue smoke to an empty room. It was like broke my heart a little bit. So I figured I can just stream from home, and it'd be the same as just them turning on Netflix or any other channel in the front part of the bar. So it's like a front and a back kind of place.
Well, I want to tell everybody how you and I connected, because Sam and I met actually before streaming started. I ended up doing an event that was a streaming event. We did it for a major corporation. Sam had contacted me from one of his clients, and they did this worldwide event, and one of the hubs was in Chicago. And so that was the first time Sam and I had a chance to work together, and that's how we kind of connected. And then we had some more interest in the disco thing, because he runs a disco night in Canada, and it's called Wax Candy?
Wax Candy, yeah. Wax Candy Disco on Instagram.
Yeah. And, my passion has always been disco, because I started in this game a long time ago when the discos were actually discos. And, we used to work those 8, 9, and 10-hour nights and no break. And that's how I kind of started. So I still have a lot of passion for that music. And I love all the new disco, all the stuff that's been resampled, obviously. And Doc, your passion, you're coming from New York, and that is the disco capital of the world from back in the day.
Yeah, it's kind of funny from back in the day to like now. Like, it's just really fun to see what everyone's doing musically, and where the industry is going. And I'm sorry, I'm over here tweaking with colors because we had to use Restream Direct today because Skype was being Skype. And so now I'm over here tweaking and playing with stuff while I'm doing things at the same time.
You got me pretty suntanned out here, man. I'm looking pretty red on my side. But
that's you. I can't have no
control over that. It's just the heat.
That's you. Either that or you started without me.
I'm drinking Diet Coke. Okay.
Okay. I say I can't start this early. It's only 9 a.m. here.
Yeah, I know you guys. You got to get up at the crack of dawn to do this show with us every week. So hats off to you for your dedication, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's been great. And the funny thing is, what's going to happen, I think, with weddings and things like that in the sort of the near future, is it is going to go virtual. And so, because of the way that we've been all doing this streaming and live streaming and stuff for the last, couple of months and stuff like that, people might not realize it, but the DJs that ran out and did this and then got 50 streams under their belts, you're technically the experts in your neighborhood at streaming, because a lot of people haven't done it already. Yeah. And I'm already getting asked to come in and help do corporate events, or virtual summits, things that would normally happen. I'm getting those inquiries because they say, hey, I just happened to bump into one of your DJ streams, and I like the way everything is going. Can you guys help us set that up? So I just had one of my lawyer friends call me up and ask me to help set up a trial disposition room for his office, because that's how they have to do it now. And he's like, I don't want to mess with that stuff. I don't know how to mess with that stuff. So I need you to come over here and help me get it all together. And then so that's another avenue, I think, that a lot of DJs might not realize. You're going to become, we've been the de facto come and help me set up my stereo guys before. Yeah, we're going to be the come and help me set up my stream guys.
Nerds for hire, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting because when we started the DJs live streaming group, one of the reasons I did that is I really felt it was like a level playing field for everybody coming in. There were a few guys that had tried it and played around with it. We had Maurice Titan Davis on a couple weeks ago, and he was one of the early pioneers of the streaming game. I talked to Tim Schomer yesterday. He's been doing this a while, and I want to get him on the show. We're trying to get some dates. So we've got some great guests lined up for you. So, tune in, check it out. We'll try to update you with who's coming on. But yeah, the whole game was level. The bedroom, the big name DJs became bedroom DJs, and the bedroom DJs could be even with everybody. So it really was a chance for everybody to start from scratch. And you've seen some guys go from, like me, I didn't even know how to hook the audio up properly when we started. My music was coming through my microphone, and it sounded terrible. And here I'm a sound guy and thinking I had it all figured out, but little did I know. But that's the type of thing. So we all have learned in 3 or 4 months, and some of the setups have just been absolutely incredible that these guys are showing up with. I mean, the green screen. Doc, we got your buddy that we need to get on the show probably in the next week or two. That does some incredible green screen work and some OBS.
The game is incredible.
Yeah. So what do you use? What is your streaming setup, Sam?
Oh, I just used a laptop, and then I figured out that NDI plugin for having your iPhone or any other smartphone as a second camera. I also put in I had a security camera, and I had it looking over top of the rig, and then I had a video projector, so the projector was like a fake green screen of sorts. So I just had a white wall, and then I was using the projector to do like music video content or have the branding on the wall behind you or whatever. So
are you on Mac or are you PC?
Both Macs, yeah. And
Okay.
then I would have had a second Mac laptop that I was streaming from, and that I was able to do share screen with 2 computers. So if I was video DJing, I could still DJ on my main machine here, but then share screen so that I could have the second Serato video screen come up as a window within OBS.
Yeah, that's how I started. I worked with 2 separate computers. So I had my main system set up to run Serato and Ableton, and then I was streaming to my other Mac, which was an older. It's like a 2011 MacBook Pro 17-inch with an i7. So it's pretty good. The only thing that it can't handle it, like if I put my nice camera, like I've got a Sony A6100, and I cannot plug that in. I can't use like a cam link. I can go direct with USB, which is not quite the same quality, but I guess the graphics card can't handle it because my other machine, which I'm on right now, is an iMac from 2013, and apparently the graphics card works. And by the way, so Doc, I switched up. I normally run the cam link, but for those of you guys that are trying to get some of this stuff, it's really hard to get. But they have this HDMI video capture card.
Yeah, I was looking to get one of those.
And I got this for, I don't know, $25-$30 on our favorite place, Amazon, which that's not my
GoDaddy,
favorite
Mavis,
place.
a bunch of different
But
guys. Yep,
that's what I'm using today, and it works. The only thing I noticed when I flipped them out was that I thought the tint was a little green when I put this card in, and I had to make a couple settings tweaks. And now I think it looks pretty good. I mean, you guys, I look a little oversaturated at least on the screen that I'm seeing from you guys. On my screen, it looks a little bit better. Of course, that's my opinion.
I did
the screen doesn't lie.
I
But
did
yeah.
a comparison. My buddy got one of those, and we did a comparison with it. And I gotta say, yeah, you're right. What we found was it did tint a little green, but when you're using Ecamm, you mess with that stuff. You can kind of slide it and correct it. I don't think because Restream, what we're doing right now today is so brand new, they don't really have camera correcting controls, so that's probably why it doesn't look as good as when we had it, on the other side. But the fact that you could do that is already above and beyond, and there's things that you could do to adjust for that, like use a tinted light. You can adjust the light to fight, if you have to use a software that doesn't have tints. But for the most part, if you're using Ecamm or OBS or Slobs or whatever, you would be able to adjust your camera and get that better look. So that Godan, I'm trying to find a link for it right now. That Godan is sold under Godan, it's sold under Mavis, and about 8 other different names.
Yeah, there's a lot of different names for it, and there's
$30
a lot of different prices too. You could pay anywhere from like $20-some up to like $60 or $70 for one of these, but it actually does work.
It's a far cry from getting price gouged at like $300 for a camera.
Cam links were going for like $350, believe it or not. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's popular has been pretty pricey. Doc, now I got to ask you a question because I just came off my stream. I do a referee hockey show at noon on Wednesdays here in Chicago, and I actually run all the technical end just like Doc runs for this show. Now, I notice your microphone is low to me. I don't know how it sounds on your end, but you sound very low to me. And I had a couple people tell me the same thing earlier, that as running the show, my microphone was low, even though it sounded equally loud to everybody else. So I'm wondering if this is now an issue that we're having with whoever's running these shows on all these systems, that their microphone is actually lower or the output is being, reduced somehow. But I had the same situation earlier, and I was the technician running everything, and now I'm seeing that from the other end. with Doc running everything?
Well, basically, what happens is I have people like Asian Tony Stark out there, aka DJ Edit.
Yeah.
He will send me a message and be like, "Hey, your mic is low," and I just crank it up. It has to do with today. I know I have no idea what it sounds like because I'm having to use this restream thing where I don't have a direct control over volume, so I have to go in system preference and screw with it. But I mean, Edit, if you're there, let us know. I'll crank that sucker up.
Yeah, it needs to come up just a little bit, at least from my perspective. So appreciate that. I don't know, Sam, if you're
you got the New York twang. You sound like all my favorite rappers.
Who's that?
You.
Got the East Coast thing.
Yeah, it was the East
He's
Coast.
East Coast living on the west of the far west coast, Hawaii.
We call it way out West Coast.
Yeah, way out.
Yeah. So I did. It's funny because I'm looking at this this sort of thing I have here on Restream, and I have no way to increase my audio. However, what I can do is.
I lost you all together now. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
That's exactly why I don't want to use that mess.
Going the opposite way.
Yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you're better now. A little bit better.
That's sharper. Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
I mean, Sam sounds fine. I mean, maybe it's just coming from Canada. The air is clearer there.
Just simple Apple technology here. Plug it in.
Right. Yeah, we got too high tech. But yeah, so basically, Sam, I mean,
streaming's interesting. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I've got this one client that I've been doing these charity events for, and there's a big one for Covenant House, which is like for homeless youth here. And we do this big event, which is like a athletic kind of outdoor in Maple Leaf Gardens, actually, the old gardens. Nice. And now she wants to do this event where it's streaming live for people who are doing a walk for cancer for one of the leading cancer research facilities. And so it's a really big deal. And there was more of a creative team that would handle the whole thing that's from LA. But because of COVID, there's more opportunities because these people can't come up here. So I know it's really easy for DJs to get stuck in a doom and gloom thing, but it's also a time where a lot of stuff is getting shook up. And as much as you said, like, we've got 50 streams under your belt, you could be the expert in the community. I feel like I've got another couple big learning curves in front of me because now they're asking me to play back video content they've produced, maybe from different machines while I'm DJing. So I probably need to come up with something with an actual video mixer into a capture card like what you have, making sure I got the bandwidth right and all this other technical stuff. So I think it's like coming in. It's easier than that.
I got you. Okay.
I had a guy.
I've got to send a quote to this woman that's hired me for a bunch of parties.
Before I lose my brief moments of smartness, you want to go to a website called NDI. I mean, look for NDI tools. Right, and I think it's called NDI.TV. So basically, NDI is a network digital interface that was designed for things like a hockey game, right? The cameraman that's running around with the camera nowadays, or the camera that's above on the rope, the Skycam, you can't have the wire wired back into the board like back in the day. So what they do is they have a high-end, high-speed closed network. NDI basically sends full 1080p 4K video over a wireless network back to the switch desk, right? And then so now when you see the guy on the court or the guy in the rink or the football field running around with the camera, there's no other guy chasing them with 80 pounds of wire because it's all wireless. So that has matriculated down to us regular folk. You can download NDI tools, and it allows you to basically using from another computer on your Wi-Fi, same Wi-Fi, you basically run the videos there, and then your software, OBS, Ecamm, whichever, will be able to see it.
Yeah, I've been using OBS. Okay, so just NDI, right?
Yes. I can't even speak English.
I thought you said Indy. I was looking for independent.
No. It's November Delta India.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I got a question on the NDI, basically, Doc, because I've used it for like an iPhone. They have some apps that you can use that brings in the NDI. We use NDI when we use Skype to be able to come in here.
Yep.
You have to turn the feature on. But is that available outside of Ecamm where you can actually like run some of these better cameras wirelessly? I mean, let's say you had a wedding situation. Yeah, I mean,
when
I don't
the
know how
guy,
the connectivity works on it. That's
when
what
the
I'm
guy
curious.
is on NHL game and he's running around with a Sony NVF
Yeah.
FV9, like that's a $500,000 camera. So the NDI box sits on the top, and it just comes back. NDI is a protocol. Just call it Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi
Yeah.
for video. That's basically what it is.
But we couldn't do that with, say, a Sony A6100, could we?
Absolutely.
How would we do it?
You buy a Teradek and you stick the box on top
Oh,
of
okay.
your camera. Like a Teradek is a little teeny box. See, without Ecamm, I can't get my screen share working.
Right, I know.
Ah!
What is the cost of that little box, basically?
A Teradek starts at about I want to say $200, maybe cheaper. There's
So
a
it's
bunch of
basically an internet connection for whatever you want to tie it to.
yeah. So back in the day, we used to use LTE even on top of a box.
Okay.
I see Teradek here. Some of them are like $1,500 or whatever for like a transmitter receiver or something like that.
Yeah. That's the pro stuff. That's where you're at. That's correct. Okay, I knew I was missing something. So yeah, so basically you've seen it before. You've seen it at higher end weddings. You've seen it at, like say political events or sports events. The guy has a camera. There's a thing sitting on the top with two antennas sticking out of
Yep.
it. That's him. He's basically using the NDI that's invented by New Tech. If you guys remember Video Toaster, way back when Amiga was in charge of all of this stuff. Damn, I'm old.
So
Anyway, so
big question is, if we, like getting into a wedding, the client I have that had talked to me briefly about doing this, and I haven't met with them. I mean, I'm doing the wedding, but I've got to bring another team in if I'm going to do the streaming end of it. And, we talked about possibly doing it over Ethernet to eliminate going out of the building so that we could still run the music. We wouldn't have a copyright infringement issue going on, like getting shut down by Facebook or YouTube or whatever the case might be. But, this was something that we discussed. But, they have friends outside of the building that want to hear the ceremony. Okay, well, then you really can't run music during the ceremony because you run the risk of being... What's that?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Super simple. You
Facebook?
No, skip Facebook because you want to get in trouble. You make a custom RTMP stream.
Okay, that's
So
a thought.
I mean, what we're doing right now is RTMP stream, but we're RTMP streaming to real-time media protocol because I know DJ Edit or AKA Ryan's going to say, why do that? Or another thing he brings up is use Discord. So you could create a Discord room, right? And you can stream directly into that Discord room. Everybody logs into the Discord room and everybody watches. And yes, just like we discovered this morning, sometimes you have to give people like this are the absolute instructions before you come. Make sure you have this set up, right? You remember we used to do these parties where you rock the headphones and like there's no actual music, but everybody's wearing the headphones and they're all listening to the same
silent
thing.
disco.
Silent disco. That's the word I was looking
silent
for.
disco.
That's an RTMP stream too. It's just, an audio only version of an RTMP stream. So you're basically doing exactly what a silent disco is. Everyone is listening to a Shoutcast link or a Discord link or, a real-time media protocol link. And instead of sending it out to the planet, you send it to this one destination that only X amount of people have. Right? Now, I haven't tested
the future
this.
for weddings. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
We haven't tested this yet, but there's even theory that you could do it to a private, not unlisted, but absolutely private YouTube page where the only people that can see it is people that have the link. And then that way their algorithm isn't listening to it because it's not been sent for public. So you have to test that, just play like
I'm not sure about that one now.
Yeah, I got to figure that out too because I got I know I'm in Canada and not the US, but I've got also like a romance novel group. It's mostly a bunch of ladies that love romance novels, and they want me to do a party for them, but they can't do it in public.
Sam?
Well, no, but it's the same as this fundraiser thing. They're concerned about copyright, and I'm like, bleh, bleh, bleh. I don't know how to answer that question because I see how you can do it and work around Facebook, have a private stream or a private room where they're allowed to go, but they're still worried about the ethics because they're people that sell copyright for a living, right? Whereas the other one, the Prince Margaret cancer one, is there might be 10,000, 50,000 people watching this. I don't know. So they're very concerned about getting called out for copyright.
Well, then the way you do that in that particular situation is you actually get yourself a streaming license from Link.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta send you
We
the
talked
link.
about it last week with Vince, as a matter of fact.
I,
But yeah,
I have the link right here on my phone.
CCLI.
No. Well, I don't
it
know.
may be different in Canada too. You
I was
never
gonna
know.
say you're in the Great White North, so
Yeah.
SOCAN, yeah, something like that. CRTC is our one up here, yeah.
yeah.
But, you know,
So you can get one for like $500 for an event or whatever,
Oh, cool.
and then you're gonna.
But yeah, I'm curious because I still think if they have a spider, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, whatever the case may be, just because you go to a private room, I still think you're being held to the same copyright standards that you would be, because I don't think they can turn that on, turn it off that way. Because I've
Right.
heard too many guys that even had relationships with the record labels, and I had one of the guys. He's a video creator. I tried to get him on the show. I've reached out to him. I haven't heard back from him yet. But he had a deal set up with Instagram, and it was for a charity deal. They made all the arrangements with Instagram, and they were basically guaranteed that they would be able to operate freely with no problems. And they did it, and that was not the case. I mean, they couldn't even stop their own technology from taking over and doing
Oh,
what
wow.
it was supposed to do. So that's why I wanted to bring him on, because I really wanted to hear firsthand what they did and how how it was supposed to have rolled, and what the reasons why they couldn't control the technology from kicking in on them, because it was all agreed to and set up with that company. So it was kind of interesting, and I'm still trying to get this guy. I'd love to have him on. I think he's down in Atlanta. Don't quote me on that, or Ohio, one of the two. But we'll try to get him. But again, I just don't see how we can possibly eliminate that spider once it's in there. And I know other guys. Somebody said they work with one of the recording artists. I don't want to say which recording artist it is, but because they have their own original music, if they do a concert basically online, that they're somehow put into the system differently, or they get something done so that they are not getting called out for playing or for singing their own, music that they own the rights to. But, the whole thing is crazy, and I wish we could figure out a better way to do this, because as this continues, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon, it seems like things are picking up. We're going to be streaming for a while, and I think even after that, I mean, streaming is here to stay, 100%, that's guaranteed. So I think the more the guys are learning the technology, and we all can, come to some understandings on certain things, the better off we will all be moving forward.
Yeah, so that's kind of the key element of it, is understanding that this is not going to go away when everything gets better, because what's happening is people are sort of learning. People are learning, like, what were the benefits of doing remote stuff in the first place. Us tech people have been screaming at the top of our lungs for years. Back in 2012, I was on the tear to try to get everybody. We have a small town with a lot of cars, okay? And our traffic here is ridiculous. Like, it is the most insane thing ever. Like, it literally can take you an hour to go 4 miles in certain parts of traffic. It's super sick. So back when we first got the Spectrum first took over our internet company, and we were able to get everybody's internet speeds where the basic package was over 100, down. We were like, so many of the offices need to let people work from home so that they could stagger the traffic time. So instead of saying, have you here at 7, you could come in at 10, but I need you to work the first 3 hours at home. And, so we were going around to different companies and try to explain to people how they can do it. And some companies got it right away, and they started doing staggering times, and, it was great. And it was something that we were working out with the Spectrum business. And so we would go around to all these different buildings and explain it. And so many companies, like, they're just old school, think that, if we let people stay home, they're going to goof off. And I was like, bro, they get more work done when they don't have to worry about if Mikey's okay for school, did he get out the house on time? Because you were there. You saw Mikey leave the house on time. So you're less stressed. You can actually focus more on work than you're at the office thinking about it. And they couldn't wrap their head around it. Well, this pandemic thing, you're hearing from people like, our productivity is through the roof. Yeah, because when you're at home and you're less stressed and you can see what's going on with your house and your kids and your family, you actually focus more. And they're like, oh, man, we should have been doing this remote work a long time ago.
100%, yes.
I was like, bro, I've been telling you guys this crap for like 8 years, And, even I know of a person who asked to rework remotely for their job, and the job was like no. And then so it's like, well, I need more time for my family because of aging parents, so I'm gonna have to quit. As soon as they're ready to quit, we'll get your computer set up. Can you work from home?
Yeah.
You see, so this new environment is waking folks up to what us tech people have been doing forever. The guys that wrote your Instagram app don't even live in the same town. Most of those guys did it, from all over the world, all across, and they collaborated. So we're getting there. And
well, that's how those guys are from Ecamm. They work out of two different areas. The guys that built the software that we love so much.
We lost Ian Fleming, but
yeah, we did. Sam, we got to get him back if we can. He may be gone.
He'll just log back in. It's funny. I had to call him Ian Fleming because of James Bond.
We'll get him back. He's in Canada.
Yeah. So it's funny, but it's definitely something that I think in order to test the YouTube theory out, what you do is you build yourself a YouTube channel that's not your regular channel, and you literally take your phone and stream like a playlist full of Warner and Sony to it for like 4 hours and see what happens.
Yeah, you'll definitely get a strike. I know, I was a little concerned because, we just started this hockey ref show 2 weeks ago, and, I had the copyright strikes on, my main music page that I have. So I cannot go live on YouTube. So basically, I was fortunate because I did start another channel to do this. And so, you need 24 hours to get the clearance and get set up. And we had enough time to do that. And then, it seems to be just fine. We're not having any issues. And then today was really the first time we really tried it because we're using Restream for this right now. And that's what we used. However, I was able to run both my guests on Skype and using Ecamm. And it ran really smoothly. One of our guests was out of state. I don't want to say where, but he was out of state. And the other one was here in the suburb of Chicago. And that's where I am, in the city of Chicago. So everything ran just flawlessly. I was really actually impressed. I thought it looked really good. I don't know what the deal is with Skype. I mean, there's a lot of talk. I know Microsoft just shut down, what is it, Mix? Was that the one that they shut down?
Mixer.
Yeah, Mixer. So Microsoft is making some moves and making some changes, and it's affecting the streaming world a little bit because all those people now are going to be moving, it looks like, over to Facebook for gaming. And so with that happening, Facebook is even going to be more prominent in the streaming business and opening up some new resources and new tools for all of us guys that do streaming, because now they have the stars where you can actually, pay a content creator. You can tip them where they get like a penny for every star that you give them. So you can give them 50 stars and they get 50 cents or whatever the case may be. And so, we're going to start seeing some of these new tools because I believe it's the end of the month that, what is that called again? Mixer is going away. And, Facebook will be releasing actually, they've released some of the stuff to some of the streamers. I don't have it on my Facebook yet, but there are some new tools that some people have had made available to them by Facebook. And I'm hoping that stuff will be coming our way soon. I don't know. Have you seen it yet, Doc? Has it hit you guys in Hawaii yet?
No, it goes according to like sort of how much you do, right? So, okay, first, the understanding of Mixer, Microsoft, after having so many people using Xbox to stream directly to Twitch, they thought like, oh, well, if we build in Mixer into the Xbox, people will use Mixer, right? So based off of them knowing that they have, say, 300 million Xboxes in the world, they're like, oh, we're going to open the service and everyone's going to dive right on. Didn't work. Why didn't work? Because like we talked about last week, people are afraid to move their community, right? So when you have gamers that have like 1 million strong on Twitch, and then Microsoft says, hey, check out Mixer. We got Mixer. It's not a fully baked yet, but it's going to be baked, and we're going to catch them to Twitch. They're not going because it's just easy. They've been doing what they've been doing the way they've been doing it forever, right? So it's just one of those things where they didn't see the the streamers, whatever, didn't see the benefit in, say, jumping over the mixer. So their problem was getting content. Their problem was getting talent. They have the money, they have the resources, they have the network capability, they had everything. What they didn't have was creators, right? And that always poses a challenge. So when Mixer officially dies, Facebook Gaming has been in beta for about 2.5 years. All they did was they absorbed all of the Mixer talent. So they're saying, okay, we have more money and more resources and more network capability, and we're Facebook, so we can, steal your mom's house. Right. They basically took the talent and had the talent come over, and they're going to put it on. So your problem with Facebook Gaming right now is they're going to be like, what was that, the USFL? When they tried to make another football league. So,
yeah, like WHA for hockey.
If they do it correct, right, they'll catch up, but it's going to take time. Twitch is going to run supreme for a hot minute. So, bringing over like the best talent, they paid like here, actually.
Some of these guys were getting, the contracts they had were unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I don't know how to.
And I think they all got paid out, is what somebody was saying. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was big money.
Right here. So Microsoft even bought Ninja over and dropped through a $30 million contract because his name is that big. Yeah. And like that didn't drive people to Mixer by bringing over like one of the biggest things. So what's happening, not just with our industry, but with the industry as a whole, streaming is going to change the way everything is done. Okay, those of us who have used the lynda.com or Skillshare or now LinkedIn Learning as a way of learning software or as a way of learning sort of business stuff out of school, we kind of get it. We've been doing it for a long time, but a lot of people don't even know that exists. So when you watch the biggest channels on YouTube right now, a lot of it that's outside of the gaming stuff, or, people like to tease, the cat videos. There's not that many cat videos on YouTube. It is an over beat up, I don't want to say falsehood, but it's just an over beat up thing that people throw out that's not real. What was very big on YouTube though was makeup tutorials, and what everybody caught out of those two words was makeup, not tutorial.
Yeah.
Okay. The makeup part is irrelevant because we're dudes and we don't wear makeup and we're ugly. But tutorial was the word that people didn't pay attention to. So there was a guy who was a plumber who got, basically 86th out of his government plumbing job, and he was pissed, but he was in his 60s. And so he goes, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to just walk around with my iPhone, and this is like iPhone 3, right? Walk around my iPhone and fix all the plumbing stuff in my house, because now that I'm fired, I got to do this. And then so within about 6 months, the dude has 6 million followers of a bunch of dudes that need the honeydew, the kitchen sink, and the backyard faucet, and the outdoor sprinkler, and the toilet. And so here's a 65-year-old guy. I'm not a computer person, but I know how to effing plumb. Watch me plumb. And he showed everybody how to plumb. When you go to Home Depot, the idiot there's going to tell you to buy this toilet ring for $5. It's a piece of crap. This toilet ring is $7. It's a little bit different, but it will last better, and you will never have that really horrible leak, and that guy's numbers went through the roof, and that begot, cooking, and then even traveling. Like my biggest videos are how do I pack for traveling, and when I go to Japan, where do you go? What do you eat? Like, what do you do? Like, those are some of my biggest videos. Or I changed a hard drive in the MacBook. That video has almost 800,000 views. Why? Because tutorials is big. So teaching what we do as a craft, only a couple of guys on YouTube are doing it, but look how much videos they got.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out because for the guys that, we've got a lot of music people here, and we are talking about tutorials, and I want to say hello to Asa Doyle. He runs a company called Groove 3, and it is like a Lynda type thing where it's learning. But it's all really based for musicians. So, guys that are doing production, they're trying to learn Pro Tools, Ableton Live, Logic Audio. You want to learn how to run plugins. You want to learn how to produce or master a record. And he's got a great site. He's a super nice guy. And we tried to connect earlier in the pandemic. He's doing all this really cool video stuff online during streaming. And he wanted to stream into my system. And like what we are basically doing now, but we had just started with this, and I really hadn't brought anybody in through Skype to do this, but that's how we would do it. And he wanted to run all the visuals for me for one of these, and I need to reach back out to him. So if you're listening, Asa, I will hit you up, and we are going to make that happen. And Sam, you might even want to try this, because what it is basically is you run the visuals from one location while one of the guys does the DJ work from another location.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I figured out how to do that.
It's very cool. So I got to reach out to him and make that happen.
Remote live producing is also about to become one of the biggest new jobs in the industry. And there's a couple of guys in our Ecamm community that run webinars and stuff right now. And then, so that's what they do. They have a remote live producer. So like in this particular situation, I am mitigating comments and putting the comments on screen and switching us from this view to that view, because if I'm ready to put on another comment like this, I don't want it to be, on Sam's face. So if I go there, like the comments kind of on Sam's thing, so I got to switch it back. So what I theoretically would be able to do is send an admin setup to this to say DJ Edit or Ryan, and then Ryan, okay, we did radio together, so he knows exactly how I am. He knows how I flow. We worked in the DJ booth for many, many years. He knows my style. Without me doing any of this, he could actually press every single one of those buttons and hit the exact same marks I would hit, because we have spent more than 15 years together in the same DJ booths. So you know what I mean? Like, he knows my mentality and my thinking. So yeah, there's something that is definitely going to be coming to the future too. So I think the biggest takeaway is, guys in our industry, you just have to think of other stuff you do. One thing I'm surprised of is many of DJ are actually musicians, right? Yeah. Look how many guys are doing the DJ/producer game. And it's like, do you know how many little kids out here trying to learn how to play piano? You got your friends have kids that are stuck at home getting on their nerves. And it's like, look, go and get this $80 MIDI keyboard, plug it into your Mac, and I'm going to teach you how to run scales. I'm going to teach you how to run fifths. I'm going to teach you how to run, general sequencing. So yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff.
Well, it's going to be more opportunities for, the guys that are trying to readjust and figure out new ways to make a living based on, the changes that we're all experiencing with the entertainment industry. Because let's face it, I think our challenges are probably still ahead for at least another year. I mean, I hope that's not the case. I'm hoping by maybe May of next year we can kind of get back to more of a normal, more so than we have right now. But there's no guarantees at this point. Because
well, I'm laughing at Ryan with his team augmented sevenths. See, like I said, a lot of DJs are musicians.
Some of the best ones I find too, because they actually understand music, and what gets you kicked out of the band should get you kicked out of the DJ booth too, for playing out of time or out of tune.
Yeah, what did it for me is I was dancer first, so like I knew like just the basic counts, So when James Coles was teaching me how to count in this 16th, and then this one's going to ride for 30 seconds, so you can come in at the beginning and chop it early, or you can bring it in the second. Like I knew all of that because I can dance, so I can count. Right?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is easy. And then I started trying to do harmonics, and I was like, yeah, should have been a musician. My clarinet skills was horrible.
Yeah, I didn't know about counting music. I learned to play piano when I was young. I'm not very good at it. I can play one partial song with a couple keys, and that's about it. But, believe it or not, learning how to count as a DJ, that changed my whole life. I mean, that, allowed me to be able to do what I do now. And
one of my...
I can count now.
One of my really, really good friends, right, when he started, like, he used to come to all of my parties, right, and he would sit in the DJ booth and he would just watch us. And I was like, man, this kid's creeping me out. So one day, I was like, dude, why do you just stand here and watch? He goes, oh, I kind of want to do this. And I was like, oh, I'll show you how, we live in roughly the same neighborhood. I said, stop by my house. So he comes by, and just without doing anything, he was like, he had it right away. And I was like, bruh, it's so different. And then I guess one day he came to like premiere himself. He came to play with us. And James was like, dude, I don't know if you noticed this, but Toma actually mixes harmonically. And I was like, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
And James was like, no, you don't know? I was like, no, I don't know. You didn't teach me that. And he goes, no, like, he's not just making it on beat. He's making the melodies match the melodies harmonically and blah, blah, blah. And so after all is over and we're doing our Pauhana shots, which is drink after work, we asked him, like, dude, like, how do you know how to harmonic mix? You just learned how to mix. And he goes, I don't know. What are you talking about? And they're like, do you play instrument? He goes, oh, I'm a classical cellist. And we're like... You know, so he didn't even know that he was doing it, but now they teach it. They got apps that show you the keys and all of that. But back when he did it, it was just...
They'll paint your library for you and tell you what your what key. I don't use key mix. I'm not into that. I mean,
a lot of people aren't.
And honestly, before I knew how to count, I was still on beat because I understood what I was doing. I just didn't know I was doing it until somebody said, well, do you know how to count this out? And then it was like, oh, that makes perfect sense, but that's what you're already doing. So
I think a lot of DJs do it without thinking about it. Like just when you put two songs together in the headphone and you're just like, it's a feeling like, yeah, they fit or they don't. Like it's
a groove.
It's out or it's not, you know.
Yeah.
You know when it sounds wrong.
Yes. And I think that's
like
what it is.
I
I think that's what it was. Because he was a musician first, without even knowing it, he was just naturally harmonizing stuff, you know, with no clue. And like, again, it's a feel, it's a sound, it's a vibe, you know. And I think that's the difference between guys that just play good music and guys that play that just have a vibe. And there's some cats out there that no matter what they do, man, they just got a vibe every set. One of my favorite DJs that's not really like a famous DJ per se, because he's more of an artist, is Maceo from De La Soul.
Oh, he's amazing, yeah.
Bro, when he spins, he has a vibe to him that you just like, oh, you can just listen to it all day. And the other one, which is funny, you're going to laugh at me for this, but you know who spins incredibly well? Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah?
That was mind blown.
Hey, like he's got a record out right now that's really hot.
When I first heard his set, I was like,
he played for the royal wedding, didn't he? I mean, you know, he's. Can you imagine that? Like he's probably getting $20 million a picture. It's like, oh no, I got to go DJ this gig, okay?
Bruh, it's funny. Hey, Agent Tony Stark, thank you for coming through, bro. We always love having you here. You're always hilarious. You crack me up. Love you, brother.
What's up, Ryan?
Dude, it's super funny. I was in YouTube and I was working, so I was trying to clean up the office or whatever, and I was like, oh, you know what? I just need to have a mix to listen to while I clean up. So I just happened to be on YouTube, so I turned off the soccer talk, and then I was like scrolling, and I guess because I was watching Premier League, it thought I wanted to see some more British people, so it's like, here's a DJ set from Idris Elba, and I was like, what? Oh, that's hilarious. So I clicked it, expecting to laugh my way through it. And I was like, oh, man, he's good. You know, I got the broom working. I had a little shimmy going. I was like, oh, this is incredible. So he's actually a pretty good DJ. It's kind of hilarious.
He's really good. But some of the music, I got to see if I can find this one. He had one that was like a solo release like a couple months ago. It was okay. I mean, it was a nice record, but
our buddy Marshall Fox joined us. What's up, Marshall? Good to see that you made it here. He's another buddy from the Ecamm community. For you guys that are watching, just wanting the tech behind this, normally we do the show from Ecamm, but Sam, Canada don't have Skype or whatever. He was screwing up the show, so we just decided to use Restream's built-in studio, and it's very limiting in comparison to what I'm used to, but it works. And the cool part is you can call a guest without them having to, download Skype and break their internet, Sam.
So this record that I'm talking about from Idris is Boasty.
Oh,
Have you guys heard it?
Oh, absolutely.
I write my own lyrics. No ghost writing.
No ghost. That was so funny.
Yeah.
And first of all, I love Sean Paul. Sean Paul to me is just a musical genius. I love that guy.
We actually had him in the studio.
He doesn't get as much credit for how good he is, but yeah, Bouncy was amazing, and the video is hilarious.
I worked on the music video for Sean Paul, like Glue, and it was shot in the basement, and the dad's yelling down the stairs, and they rented all the speakers off me at the It's Sean Toronto, yeah. He was here for a while in Toronto.
Oh, that's
stories are so cool.
Yeah,
some of these guys make music out of nothing, and they become hit records. And we get guys who come up with a radio station. They were working off an M-Box and some bootleg plugins or whatever, pirated plugins, and they got top 10 record on their, in the country. It's unbelievable.
It's funny what you're saying about musical talent and just people got a feeling, because I used to work at Long McQuaid's, our big Sam Ash music store up here, and people would come into keyboards, and you get 5-10-year-old kids that could read sheet music of 30-second notes or whatever you put in front of them, just pluck it off. Oh, that's amazing. Let's just jam some EAB blues, and they'd be like, "No, I couldn't improvise ever." Oh, that's fine. Well, just play me one of yours that you're. Oh, I would never write. So it's like to be able to play music. Like to sight read is one skill that I've never really fully developed, but to be able to just hear it and feel it and groove, I think is like,
and then have that vibe, right?
The vibe, and then to sing at the same time is when it's your name and the somebody's, right?
Yeah, I like that. Your name and the somebody's. Hey, that's going to be a group. I like that. Somebody should seriously do that. And tonight's special guest, your name and the somebody's from Toronto, Canada.
So Sam, are you doing a regular night now with your streaming, or are you guys are you still like pumping it out weekly at a scheduled time, or how you?
Yeah, we took a knee the last month. Just two white guys playing disco was just time to just take a pause. But I also cracked my thumb pretty good, and I was also moving, so I moved my whole studio. So I'm just getting it fired up. I started last week back at the club, and I was using Twitch, but restream into Twitch, into Facebook and YouTube, and also Instagram. So I'd sometimes set up Instagram on another sound card on another phone, just trying to push people over to Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, Instagram you cannot run. I mean, you have to do it off your phone. If you run it off your computer,
the
you're
cool
going to
thing
get
about
shut down.
Instagram, and this is where people they get caught in the traps and not think it through. So here's how you do the Instagram. It's super simple. You basically pull up your Instagram feed. You set your phone right here. You have it looking at your set and crappy audio, everything. And underneath it, you have a 3x5 card with your Twitch link. Right? So you say, listen, this is going to get cut off, but make sure you jump over to Twitch. And you basically film this, a sign and this. And then no one's watching after a while, and they're where they're supposed to be. But instead, everyone's like, oh, I was on Instagram, I had 3,000 people watching, and I got fired. No shit, Sherlock. Put your thing up and say, all 3,000 of you come to Twitch.
That's a super hack. Everybody should pay attention to that. Tell them one more time, Doc. So
we put the link in the bio works pretty good too. Just say, hey, the link's up here.
The link's up here. You know, if you have a simple name, you know, like mine would be simple, Doc Rock, right? You could just take a simple. I mean, if you're super low tech, okay, say you're, you know, James Coles. I love to pick on my buddy because he always swears he's not a tech guy. If you're James Coles, you could take a 3x5 card in a Sharpie and write twitch.com/James Coles and point it so that the camera is half looking at you and DJ and half with that card in the shot, and then tell everybody jump and they will go.
It's an invitation, and then when you're done, you can take a live and turn it into a post, so even after you're done, it'll just drive them over there too.
Yes, so that's how. And then when you're not streaming throughout the week, you say, I'm going to be on Twitch this day and time. And you just keep putting it there. You keep putting it there. Now, the biggest problem for me, and I'm admitting, I'm talking to myself right here because I do it. I do my live streams randomly, and I should stop doing that. Right?
Yeah.
Something like this, where we know 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, I got to be here, or 2 o'clock to Scott, and probably it was at like back, like 4 o'clock to you, right? Like you just say, I'm going to be here. If you tell people I'm going to be where I'm at, they'll show up, right? Same way they used to come to the Hana room on Saturdays at 10, like they knew where you were going to be.
You gotta schedule it.
Try to be where you're supposed to be, and then they'll come a lot, you know, more. And then you don't have to. I'm afraid to bring my crowd to here. This is what Vince said, and it stuck so hard in my head because everyone says that. I'm afraid to make my crowd jump from Facebook to say Twitch. If your crowd won't jump from Facebook to Twitch, they wasn't your crowd. I know for a fact when I went from Club Blue to Club Orange, everybody came with me. You know what I'm saying?
Which you're gonna get a lot of looky-loos on Facebook because you know your stream they're going down their stream and they're seeing something and they pop in, and then you got the other guys that are just DJs that are just want to check you out but don't want you to know they're there because that wouldn't be cool. I'm not checking out your stream, or they pop in and hey, and they're gone.
Right,
You turn around and say, hey, back. They were gone like 10 minutes ago, okay? They stayed for like 30 seconds just to see what you had, what you were doing, how many viewers you had, that sort of thing. So,
Actually, I think DJs do that a lot too. They just check this. They just check to see what other DJs, how much people they got, and stuff like that, and then they leave. And I think the other thing that I've picked up more recently than not is I try to watch more and more and more of other DJ streams because I just feel like I'm supporting. you know. So
Absolutely.
I've been finding myself listening to a lot more sets because I just want to be supportive. And so if adding one more number to another person's number makes it seem like, the other people want to stick around. Because here's what happens. Someone comes to the feed and there's 20 people watching, they might not stick. But if someone comes to the feed and there's 300 people watching, they're going to stay, if nothing else, to watch the dumb stuff people say in comments.
Well, I mean, it's great. I mean, you do get to interact. I mean, that's the beautiful thing here. The comments count, and people, support the DJs, guys. Give them some love.
I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn too. Like even the worst DJ in the world is doing something right if they keep getting booked, right? So I can always learn from everybody.
Absolutely.
I love what Robert says. Robert always has funny comments or anything. He says
Hey, Robert.
he loves being a DJ voyeur.
Yeah.
Wait, shouldn't say Canadian. I mean Canadian. I shouldn't say French words in front of the Toronto guy.
You work in a club. You're a people watcher. That's been one of my great pleasures.
True that.
My entire career is to watch all the people. And if you can create the fun for them to enjoy it, more fun for you to watch. So
that is 100% true. I never really thought about it like that, but that is 100% true. Because that was always the best part, was just looking at people. Yeah. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes something endearing would happen. I've seen a metric crap ton of proposals. You've seen like people cheer their friends up, or surprise birthday parties, or like just all kind of myriad things. So yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah, love it. Well, guys.
Before we go, I'll tell you a quick story. One of the best things that ever happened in my career was we had a like Hawaii is in a weird spot, right? So Japan is here and then Cali is here. So when people come back from the world tour, Japan it's normally their last stop. On the way home, it's such a long flight, they'll stop here, and the label will be like, hey, we're going to give you guys a couple days in Hawaii to kind of like stretch your legs and relax, and thank you for a wonderful tour. This was very common back in the days. Right, so one day, this guy, DJ Mad Spider, walks into the club, and he's like, "Oh, I got some people here with me, and they're from the mainland, and they just want to kind of relax or whatever." And it was like, "Okay, yeah, come in." And then it was the Fugees, and I was like, and of course, all of the dudes were like mad struck, like over Lauren. And then so Spider goes, "Oh, it's Lauren's birthday, so." Can we get like a special table or whatever? It's like, yeah. So we totally stopped them up with VIP and everything. And so I told my DJ partner, I was like, hey, hold that thought, because we loved the Fugees back then. I said, hey, you got to rock this for 15 minutes by yourself. He's like, where you going? I'm going to run to Zippy's and buy a birthday cake. So I ran to Zippy's. I bought a birthday cake for Lauryn Hill. I came back and I presented to her and made her cry, basically. And then they came into our booth and they did a set. And Matt Spider and I did like a DJ versus beatbox battle. And it was just this incredible, like, fun thing. I got the freestyle against Wyclef, and like they were still like first album, so they weren't like the Fugees of what they became. But the fact that you bring in a celebrity, and just for S&Gs, here, let me go get you a birthday cake. And Hawaii has a very special birthday cake known as a dobosh. It's like a double chocolate on top of chocolate with a side order of chocolate. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you taste it, you will fall in your spot. If you're a chocolate eater, you're done. You're just going to be like, oh my God.
Coming out there for one.
That was the greatest thing ever. So like, even for her, like a kid from Haiti, to like have a dessert that she's probably never ever going to find anywhere else either, because it's a very Hawaii thing. And yeah, it was literally one of the greatest things. So that's what we get. We love doing stuff like that. And now we just have to figure out how to do it virtually. And then so, if you're able to just call up a buddy, and maybe you're just going to play like a 30-minute practice set to a group of friends because somebody's birthday, you'll change their game. And then that will give you the energy to go do your Twitch.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much. Sam, it was a pleasure having you. Hope everything is great up there in Canada for you and continued success. Can't wait till we can get back to doing some events. We need to do one of the disco parties. And Doc, always a pleasure. Hawaii, I'm still planning on coming out there one of these days. I can't wait.
Sam, how can people get a hold of you, contact you, find out about evolved entertainment? What the heck is it? Involved?
Evolved, yeah. Evolved ENT on Instagram. Wax Candy Disco is our thing. Wax Candy on Facebook. Wax Candy Disco on Instagram. And I go by F-Sharp, not G flat.
I like the Wax Candy Disco. That's a sick.
Yeah, man. Well, we still jockey some discs.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Good stuff
Hence
right
the
there.
name, right, yeah. The night I did before it was called For the Record. It was all vinyl DJs. It's just nodding to Judy Weinstein that was with Frankie Knuckles and all that.
You see the vinyl back there? That's all disco, right?
Man, I remember that.
And over here,
disco record
got
just being
3 more racks over there. So yeah, and then I got a room back there with more disco.
I know it's cliche as all get, but like I remember my first disco record and it was Donna Summers, and I was just like played that record to death. That was the first disco record I ever bought.
I Feel Love?
Played that record to death. Yeah.
Greatest disco record ever.
Yo, I used to roller skate around in my basement, like trying to get my legs to do that little thing. and I kept like crashing into the pole, which is funny because in Hawaii, basement don't exist. But yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, every Wednesday, this is your spot.
Next week, we will have Alan King from The Chosen Few will be joining us. So check it out. It happens at 2 p.m. Central every Wednesday right here.
There you go. Thank you guys for watching DJ Live Streaming. Don't forget, you can join the Facebook group. You don't have to be a DJ. You just got to love music or love me or love Scott or love Sam.
Share those streams, everybody. Sharing is caring.
I appreciate you guys.
Have a good week.